Before we begin, I invite you to gently close your ears and focus on what remains when all external sounds fade away. It's like sitting in a quiet room, and after a while, you notice a subtle ringing or hum beneath the silence. If you listen closely, you'll start to experience this soft, constant presence, something that feels like the very fabric of reality itself. In quantum physics, it's said that everything is connected at the most fundamental level, and that everything we see is just a manifestation of deeper, unseen energy. What you are hearing, or rather feeling, is that same energy, that same field of potential. This subtle ringing is what we call the sound of silence. It's not just an abstract concept or some external force. It's the very essence of you. Everything we discuss in this session and the ones to come will be about this sound of silence. It is not something separate or different from you. It is you. This exploration is about realizing that the sound of silence is your own inner being, your most fundamental nature, the stillness from which all life arises. You are that, the very presence behind everything. I am the only conscious substance in this creation. Whatever form exists in me. This is called the state of supreme love and compassion. When you realize this truth, you stop looking at things theoretically and begin to see them as they truly are. You will understand the pain of others and feel their happiness because you will recognize that your existence is not dependent on this body. Even after the body dies, I will still exist. Whatever happens to this body, everyone is affected by it. If something negative occurs through this body, then everyone around is unhappy, and those people too are me. If something good happens through this body, everyone is happy, and in that case, who is happy? I am happy. Through this supreme decision, you can fill the darkness of ignorance with light, become sorrowless and blessed. True happiness comes only when you separate yourself from the identification with the body. As long as you identify with this body, happiness is impossible. This body is prone to diseases. It can be infected at any time, and anything can happen to it. There is no limit to the kind of harm that can befall it. How can you be happy if you think you are this body? You are trapped between what is right and wrong, either doing right or wrong with this body, or others are doing right or wrong to you. You are trapped in this narrow vision and self-centered activities, and these will clash with the activities happening around you. Imagine how much conflict arises when everyone is operating from a self-centered perspective. This is inevitable. There will be stress, problems, and conflict, and you cannot be happy in such circumstances. There are two ways to be happy. One is through sensations that you like and prefer. When you experience those sensations, you feel good. This is universally true for all beings, whether human or animal. However, there is a twist. These sensations are temporary. They come and go. When a sensation occurs, you feel happy, but as soon as it disappears, you become sad. This is the essence of sorrow, an eagerness to experience that sensation again. This cycle of wanting a sensation and being happy with it, followed by sadness when it disappears, creates a constant craving for more experiences. What is the definition of something good? It is something that we like. For one person, it might be mangoes. For another, apples. The definition of what is good is different for each of us. Everyone wants to be happy, and no one wants to be sad. Even the person who is committing suicide is not doing it because they want to be sad, but because they feel it is the only way to end their sadness. Everything we do day and night is for happiness, but if a wise person observes, they will notice a flaw in this approach. This method has a huge flaw because all these sensations, which are the cause of happiness, are addictive. What makes you happy today will later cause sorrow. Someone praises you and you feel good, but when someone criticizes you, you feel bad. When someone is kind to you, you feel happy, but when they are rude, you feel sad. Everything in this world is not purely good or bad. It is a mix of both. No one is perfect. Everything has side effects. Even water, if consumed in excess or insufficiently, can have side effects. The same applies to everything. If your intake of anything is balanced, it is okay, but when you are driven by cravings, you lose control and act without awareness. You may act in a way that brings you temporary pleasure, But in the end, it will lead to sorrow because those feelings are temporary. They are attached to fleeting sensations, events, thoughts, and situations. They occur and disappear. On the other hand, another way to be happy is through understanding. This understanding is permanent. It does not fluctuate because it is not attached to sensations, feelings, thoughts, or events. It is tied to your very existence. Understanding that you are not something that is dependent on feelings or thoughts, but that you are the essence that remains unaffected by any of these, is key to finding lasting happiness. What kind of feeling is this? How can it be expressed in words? It cannot disappear because it is rooted in the knowledge of your true nature. If you depend on sensations, feelings, or thoughts for happiness, you will live and die in this cycle, believing you exist. But who is having that feeling? You say that you're experiencing the feeling, but who is this you? Is it the body? The body is just an instrument. The consciousness within the body is what feels, but is that consciousness really yours? To claim that consciousness is yours is a misunderstanding. Consciousness is universal. It is not something that belongs to you or to me. It is shared by all who are conscious. If you observe the depth of this consciousness, you will see something magical. This consciousness has always been, is, and will continue to be. This is what makes it unique. It is timeless. Time affects forms, but consciousness is beyond time. A form can be born and die, but the formless consciousness is unaffected by time, as it is neither born nor destroyed. The entire universe, with all its forms, is in constant change. A form must change. It cannot remain static. The consciousness behind these forms remains the same, unchanged throughout all transformations. This timeless consciousness is the essence of being, and understanding it brings liberation from the cycle of birth, death, and suffering.